I'm super good. How are you, Mark?
Good. I'm really well. Really well. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Wonderful.
Looking forward to our next week of coffee and chat. So it's good.
Yes. So this Sunday we have a very special guest. His name is Nayan, and it was a brilliant interview. I'm just so happy that he agreed to be on our show. What did you think of the interview?
It was fascinating, and without obviously spoiling it for people, what I found was really, really interesting was how the interview went from, a major struggle or major challenges and the outcome. 'Cause it wasn't how I was expecting it to be, but so many powerful messages come out of it. Such a young guy, 33 years old. Some of the stuff he's gone through. There's so many things like his massive positive outlook on life when things, when most people would maybe, well, he says himself, could be quite grumpy in places, and also his massive, huge belief, and whatever that belief is in, he has such belief. And for me, I found that really, really, really powerful. Very, very emotional interview this week. So yeah.
Very true. Very true. Well, I hope you all enjoy. Let's get to it. Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday to all of you watching. Today, I am very excited to have Nayan. I hope I said it right. Yeah?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, Nayan in our show. He's an artist with great passion for souls and humanity, and he sees himself as a vehicle that God is using to transport the message of hope, love, faith, transformation, righteousness, positive mindsets, and emulating Christ through his music. Oh, this is beautiful. Nayan, such a pleasure.
It's an honor. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing good. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So tell us a little bit more about this. This is gorgeous.
Well, my name is, as you said, my name is Nayan. I'm originally from an island named Dominica, in the Caribbean, but I have made my home in Barbados for the last 17 years. I've been in Barbados. This is actually where I started music and everything, professionally. I had an interest for music, but listening to music, but it wasn't necessarily like to do music or anything. And since we on this topic about overcoming, I think Barbados was my most, difficult journey or circumstance to overcome. So I really love this place. This place is home, as I said, for the last 17 years, but home will always be home, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Dominica. Yeah.
Oh, that is so nice. Okay.
Yeah,
and so are you there by yourself? Are you with family? Because you said...
Yeah, family. I actually moved. I did the last 2 years of my high school in Barbados. I moved there with my mom. She got a job, and she was like, we're gonna have to move. And I'm of two. I have a sister who lives in Massachusetts, in Boston, and she was already gone on her own way. So it was just me and my mom and my dad. But my dad had to fulfill his contract for his job till the next year. So we just kind of moved before him, and that's how we ended up in Barbados.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, both places are beautiful. I haven't been yet, but I have seen pictures and they're beautiful. So it can't be too hard living out there.
Yeah, it's different. The only thing about Barbados is that they have no rivers. That's the only thing. No rivers, no waterfalls, those kind of things. Yeah. Yeah. But Dominica has a whole heap of them. Yeah.
So So you're a singer.
Yeah.
Okay. And you sing reggae, you said?
Yeah, sing reggae, dancehall, predominantly gospel. Sometimes I could touch a little bit crossover. But you know, people have this thing about crossover sometimes, you know, as gospel singers. But sometimes I think there's a need for it. Sometimes I don't think there's a need for the harsh, you know,
Right.
get your life in order. I think there's something that I could talk about what happened in society. I think I have a big responsibility to deal with those things, whether it be young children getting raped or let's say people stealing or anything like that, any social issue. I think I have an obligation to tap into that. So plus reggae, if you studied reggae and know it's predominantly about, you know, dealing with social issues and social ills, yeah, and uplifting people. So that's where I'm at.
That's wonderful. Yes, and it's much
Yeah.
and yes, through art we can criticize, we can bring awareness to all
Definitely.
topics. Yes, so thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. And so you, it says, like I was reading your biography, and it says that you have had a very interesting journey, and you're only 33 years old. Do you want to take us along this interesting journey, please?
Yeah, I think I can give you a quick run through, but not leave out any important details. So for me, as I said earlier, my biggest journey, CISA, was moving here and having to have new friends. It's a whole different culture, you know. Although we're just like an hour away on a plane ride, you would be surprised at the culture shock between the two different islands. So when I came here, it was pretty cool. I had actually found there was this guy I met at a camp actually in 2000 in Dominica. So when I get it, he was like, "You is it?" So you know that kind of thing when you're like, "You're the guy like Juice, like you, that's you," and it was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "I know somebody." Yeah, so it was good that way. But then I did my 2 last years of high school in Barbados, and oh boy, towards the end, we call our ending of high school exams the CXC exams. So it's the Caribbean Examination Council. I think they changed the name now, but that was what I did, CXC at the end. And I have an aunt who always, she's like, when you're not feeling well, you know, let's take your blood pressure. Like, you know, like, and I'm like, I take my blood pressure. Blood pressure is to old people. You know what I mean? Like that time I was like 16, leaving high school, and I was like, blood pressure? You know? And then she took it, and it was very high. That was 2005.
Okay.
Right? It was very high, more than anybody in the house expected at the time. And she was just visiting from Dominica. So I was like, take my blood pressure, and now it's high now. I have to go to the doctor, you know. Anyways, I went. Then they said I had a protein leak in my urine sample. And then they took my bloods, and there was some abnormalities in the bloods. So they kept on investigating, and they found out that I had this kidney disease called, let me try. It's FSGS, they call it. But the real name is focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. What all of that mumbo jumbo means is the filtering apparatuses in your kidneys, they get scarred, and that's how the protein leaks out into your urine and your. So essentially, the kidney wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So it's like you have a strainer making juice, but then all the pulp of the orange is just going down into your jug, and it was similar to that. That's how I try to explain it to people. Fast forward, they found out this problem. Then I had to do something named a biopsy. So which is where they went through my back with like a drill thing, and they clipped a piece of my kidneys to find out what was going on, and they found out I had this FSGS thing. Not only did I have it in one, I had it in both. So some people get the chance to have a like a polycystic or what else do they call it? A cyst in their kidney, and they could take it out quick, and then they use the other one. Right? Unfortunately, I had in both of mine. But all that time I was really cool. They were giving me medication, trying to slow down the progression of the kidneys being, and that was 2005, 2006, early 2006, I found that out. I'll tell you the honest truth. 2006 is where I really started to do the music. So it was me and a good friend of mine, that same Juice guy I met. And I was like, yo, I know you from... His younger brother was into playing keyboards and music. And we decided, well, we like to write songs. And you could sing, I could sing. You make the beats. Let's do it. So we started it. Nothing professional, sister. Nothing professional at all. But we decided we were going to do it. Quickly, we formed a band. There was 6 of us. From the 2, it just jumped to 6 of us. We realized that one guy could play the keyboard, one guy could play the bass, another guy could play another keyboard, and one guy could play the drums. And 2 of us could sing. We created a band.
Nice.
The young girls in the church with us as well, they were singing in the church choir and everything. So we decided to rope them in and say, well, you could sing background vocals, because we could just create this thing. So we created a band. 2006, I started this thing, but I was sick. But it wouldn't show. You wouldn't know unless I go to the doctor, I take the blood test, and then we know you're sick. So that's 2006. We jump in. All that time I did music, I was okay. Still on the medication, trying to control the blood pressure, cholesterol, those kind of things.
Yeah.
But the kidneys, something was going on with the kidneys. Where's the big point I could jump to? 2011. Let's jump right there. 2011, I'm in the States. I'm on some pills, but I feel like they didn't go too well with me. They were antibiotics. So I fell sick, like really sick. But then, from the Caribbean, you always hear, well, if you don't have insurance, and you go to the States, to the US, and you go to the ER, you're going to get a bill that you probably have to get a loan. And I kept saying that all the time. And I was like, God, at this point, come on. But I was like, I'm not going. My sister was like, you probably need to go. She was just keeping saying that to me. You really need to go, right? And then it's like, second day, I felt like I was not dying, but still dying. Third day, my sister said, nah, if you have to pay this bill for the rest of our life, we're going today. Fast track, went to the hospital. When I went to the hospital, I actually met a social worker. And one of the first things she told me is that Massachusetts has this thing, this mass health, where it's like they cover your bill if you're a visiting student or a visitor to the state. It's not all states that have this.
Wow.
So I spent 3 days killing myself, losing 20% kidney function, where I didn't have to pay anything. And my sister was like, you should have gone. My sister was like, you should have gone the first day. See, we should have gone the first day. Anyways, I get there, a whole heap of specialists, everybody, because by this time my potassium is way up, threatening heart and cardiac arrest. People threatening they're gonna have to give me a catheter to do dialysis. It looks like it is going to be the end almost. And I'm like, but God, you didn't just show me one little sign that and I heard a still small voice say, your sister told you go the first day. So sometimes you see, we get the signs, we get what to do, we just don't listen. So that would have been a major difference. So by this time I'm thinking, all right, cool, kidneys are dying, my doctor is in the Caribbean, there's all these specialists in the States. It's like pressure on me. So blood pressure going up. I don't know. It was frightening at the point. I would tell you, it was really, really frightening. But I must say that the people, the doctors, the nurses, the specialists who dealt with me, they dealt with me with so much care. They wanted me to just explain everything I felt. They wanted to know what was really going on, how is it happening, how you feeling, and they just dealt with me. I spent a couple of days there. Then they released me from the hospital. Then I think I had to go repeat the blood work. And it was a little bad, so they kept me for another 2 days. But all this time they were liaising with my doctor in the Caribbean. And I just found it so amazing how, like they coordinated so much to be able to help me feel better and to be able to understand more of the illness that I was going through. And so that was 2011. Fast forward 2013, we're coming down to the end of 2013, and I am hitting stage 5 kidney disease, end stage renal failure, because from that 20% I lost, I never regained it coming back up. It just kept going down. 2013, going down to the end, 10% kidney function. But if you saw me, you would never know. One person I know who knew me good, they called me a walking miracle once. Because no one could believe that I was on 10% kidney function. And I was up and about, I was doing stuff. I was working with charities, going to schools, trying to reach young people. Remember, I feel that I have a purpose.
Right.
And I want to fulfill that purpose until it is done. So 2012, backtrack just for a minute, that's when I launched my first album called Mr. Warrington. So it's a play on words because my name is Nayan Warrington, but I choose to coin a particular song and the name of the album as Mr. War in Ton, as in I war in tons. Yeah, so I coined it. 2012, that was great. But remember, I was telling you, I'm still going down from 2011. People don't know.
Right.
I actually went home to launch my album with my whole band. People didn't know. Most people didn't know. And sometimes I felt a little bit, I would say probably like intimidated to talk about it, because I didn't want people to pity me, that kind of like, oh, you're sick and oh my God. And I didn't want that. I preferred if you knew that you would encourage me and say, boy, you look strong today. Like, keep pushing, keep going. I prefer that. But then some people, especially in our culture in the Caribbean, everybody is very in touch with their feelings, whether crazy feelings or good feelings. Everybody's in touch with them in some way. So yeah, it's just, I didn't mention much, but 2012, we were on fire. We were everywhere, like most of the events, and it was good. But 2013, as I said, phew. So by this time, I could see food. I know I'm hungry, but I can't eat it. Metallic taste in my mouth, gastro, vomiting every day. If I try to drink a little tea, blah, you'll call it the ER, right? Or A&E, but yeah, ER. Every other day, I have to be there getting drips because I'm not eating, not drinking. So obviously I have to get fluids in my fast track. Gets really bad. When I say really bad, really bad. The toxins in your blood in a normal person is supposed to be about 0.2 to about 0.7. May not be the exact numbers, but it's that range. 0.2 to 7. One night I ended up in the ER and my toxins in my blood was 66.
Oh.
You heard what I said before, right? It was supposed to be 0 to 7, 2 to 7.
Yeah.
I ended up at 66. So here goes again the call for dialysis. First thing a doctor says, I get transported to the major hospital on the island. A young doctor, he meets me there. On the way in the ambulance, though, I'm like, so God, how did I get here? Like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I am trying to reach people, encourage people, even in my struggles. I'm trying to do it, trying to overcome it.
Right.
But I'm in an ambulance with a 66% bun. And a doctor is saying we probably need to put a catheter to give him dialysis. I get to the hospital and there's this young doctor there, and I told this young doctor, I am terrified about dialysis. He says, okay. He explains everything to me that's going on with me. Very, very clear. And I'm like, okay. So he says, what we're going to do is give you some fluids. What we're going to do is see if you output that same amount of fluids. We'll see how the kidney functions. Repeat the blood test in the morning and see what happens. I pray to God. I say, God, this is My whole family was there. I said, this is not the time. I can't be going through this right now. I said, this bun needs to come down. It needs to come down somewhere safe, where they could say it's safe. The next morning we do the blood test and the bun goes down to 20. Now 20 is still bad, but for me, 20 is good.
Right.
Yeah. So doctor calls me, said, you outputting the same amount, whatever we gave you, you outputted it. That means your kidney's functioning a certain way, whatever. And he says, but we need to monitor this closely and we need to talk to your specialist, your doctor. And I'm like, bro, this cannot be happening now. This is like the peak. Like, this is like me and my band are everywhere. People are loving it. We are not getting too excited and blowing up our minds about being stars. Every day we remind ourselves, this is not about us. This is about a message to people. This is about encouraging people. We don't know what people are going through, but we go through something. So even if you play the drums, when you come, you have an understanding that you play the drums to the best of your ability, and you play it based on what you feel so that it comes out. So even if it's one little guy in the crowd that says, oh, I love that drummer, like whatever, even if you get that the night, no one hears what I says and singing with my background vocals, I'm okay with that. Because our main focus is to influence and to impact. That was our focus. But I was getting sick and I was not able to do what I was supposed to do. Fast forward 2014, I got a fistula. A fistula is the access point that you use for dialysis. So they stick one needle in to take out the old blood, goes through the machine and the filter, and they stick another needle to bring back the clean blood inside of you. Yeah?
Okay.
By this time we were talking, what are my options? 3 options here. You either get a transplant, you either start dialysis, or you die. Simple as that. That was the 3 options. Now, those 3 options were not really nice to hear for a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
You get 3 options like that. Sometimes when I think back, it's like, it's kind of like the same question happening in my head. How did we get here? Like for all my life, that was the last thing on my mind that was going to happen to me. And then when I started the music, I had a mission, a vision. The people who were around me had that same vibe, and we were ready to go and hit the world. But then here comes this option. So, guy who records my music, we became very close. He owns the studio where I record, and I went to him and his wife one night, and I just tried to explain to them everything the doctors had been saying, everything that had been happening. And I said, yeah, I have the 3 options. And he said, well, I think I have 2 kidneys. You could have one. I was like, what? What did he say? And then he looked at his wife and he was like, that's all right, that's okay, right? And she was like, yeah, we could try. Nothing beats a trial, right? Look, I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to say. I just started crying. I didn't know what else to say. I know what else to say. Because people look for God in the big ways, right? To split the cloud and to my son. No, that's the simple way where you could find God. Love, like literal love for somebody who is not related to me, who's not from the same country as me. We just met in this country a couple of years ago, and he decides, yeah, I'll give you one. Beautiful. And I was like, but you have a son. Like, no, like, he was like, yeah, we'll try. First thing you have to know is the blood group, right? I said, yeah, that's the first thing. He was like, all right, cool, I'll go do that. When he went, O positive. Same blood type as me. That was the beginning. Man, we went through stories after stories, setback after setback. We were doing tests because we decided to do the transplant in the States. But we spent about 2 years 3 years, 4 years, different setbacks. Even for me, I lost my insurance. Because remember, in 2014, no, you don't remember, I didn't tell you. In 2014, I started dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2014, July, a day before my birthday, I started dialysis. And all that time I was doing dialysis, but we were trying to do the little workup here and there, trying to raise funds because we didn't have all of the money to do it. So the help was coming in, but it wasn't coming in how we wanted it. So times when they were ready for us, we didn't even have the half amount deposit to do it. It was different things. And, you know, some people might say, boy, the devil trying to stop me from doing this. But sometimes it's just the way that things happen, you know? So I was really excited. I was like, yeah, again, this kidney, he's healthy. He's done all these tests. We've done all the cross-match tests, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, oh boy, we were right there, sister, right there. And he went up to get his workup and in the States. And then they did another in-depth cross-match. A cross-match is pretty much seeing if my antibodies would fight against his or his would fight against mine. Obviously, you're putting a foreign organ into a foreign body. You want to make sure it doesn't reject it. And when he did the test, the last one, and I sent up my blood to them, it was a 75% chance that I would reject the kidney with my antibodies. So essentially, he is a perfect donor, but just because of my antibodies, they think that if they've dropped the kidney in there, my body will reject it. And even with all the medication and stuff, the 75% chance was harder to fight and battle with, try to figure out. I was devastated emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, socially, every of the early you could think of. I know what they are, to be devastated in them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, by this time, I want to question God. But I can't. Because I'm alive, number one. That means I have another chance. There's someone else who didn't get the chance, but I'm alive. There's people that I saw came on dialysis after me, died before me. All I'm reminded of is I have a chance. Because if you think about it, the fact that some people say, you know, today's a bad day. You know, I'd rather have a bad day than not have a day. Wouldn't you?
Of course.
Yeah, I'd rather have a bad day than not have a day. And the understanding of it is that, I don't know, some people say you're crazy for having faith. But for me, it's like, I don't control. When my phone alarms in the morning, there isn't an app that says, okay, let's give him breath today because we're waking him up. There isn't that.
Uh-huh.
This doesn't wake me up. And having the understanding that something wakes me up made me feel a little bit better, I'll be honest with you. Because I don't like to use this excuse, but I am human and I feel. So at this point, man, 2018, terrible, man. I'm thinking like I've been here all the time. We get so close. Even without insurance, people have donated and we tried, and my mom and them have sacrificed so much to get us to do this surgery. And I'm like, where is this going? Where is this going? So by this time now, my music is being affected because I've had so many issues, having to do so many surgeries, getting clots in this fistula, it blowing up like a balloon, and me having to go get it reconstructed, cut off, and grafted. And I've had so many obstacles and so many trials within this period. And I'm like, that's it. I was going to get it. The transplant, it was right there. And I could like feel it, you know? And then it's like, poof. So then I'm like literally back at square one, where I depend on a machine to live 3 times a week for 4 hours. And that's my position. But I always remember, have to be thankful because you have a chance. You have another day, that's another chance. So I believe it will work out. And I'm still having big issues at this point. Even as I'm talking to you, I'm having major issues right now with my health. Major, when I tell you. And when you reached out to me and you spoke about overcoming, you know, plenty of people think that probably I should come here when I get the transplant and talk to you so we could be like, yeah, oh my God, we got the kidney, blah, blah. No, it's not about it. It's every step that I take, that I go through and I overcome. That's the blessing in it. So when you reached out to me about it, I thought to myself, I know many people gonna think he's gonna have this bright, happy ending story. But I'll tell you the truth. If I look back at where I've come from since 2014, I have a bright, happy story. It might not be the ending of it, but it's a bright, happy story because I have overcome so many hurdles. And for me, I'll just be forever grateful. I mean, the last surgery I did on this, I don't know if I should say this, but when I went into the recovery room after the surgery, about 3-4 hours, the doctor said to me, boy, the only thing you didn't thank in there is the man who brought the electricity from the power company. Man said everybody who did something for, even when I was groggy and under, he was saying, like if the doctor came to me and he said, you feeling a little pain? You need a little pain medication? I was like, yes, doctor, please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I thank you so much. He was like everything, every move he made. And he was like, we're getting through, we're doing da-da-da-da-da. You okay? And I like, yeah. I was like, thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. Because it's like, it's in me, even in an quote unquote unconscious stage. I have no choice but to be thankful for everything that people have done for me, for God has done for me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for everything. So for me, as I said, this is not the happy ending. You know, I'm still in a stage of the rocky road, but I truly am thankful that I'm alive. Not to say that people who have passed, you know, I would say like, well, that's you and that's me. I honestly think in myself, those who have gone, I feel it because I understand now what it is to be almost on the brink of that. Because that 66 toxins in my body, that was an eye opener for me because I was like, bro, you're going there. That's 66. So I kind of know what it is a couple of times to be going on the brink, you know, of it, but not crossing over. And I guess it's a part of life that we probably would never understand. And I always tell people, and this is a comfort to you as well. Sometimes we only see the ping pong, the passport photo, but God has this bigger portrait. Like he sees this bigger thing that we don't have a view of and we may not understand at the time. Even for me going through this, I haven't fully understood it. Mm-hmm. But I honestly believe that he has this greater picture that he sees that we don't, but he gives us a glimpse with that ping pong. And if you focus on the passport photo for a while, if you focus on it, I think we get to understand a little piece of it, like why this might have happened. How could that have happened? And day by day, I think we grasp how things work in the universe, how things, I mean, like how things form, how things happen, I should say, and sometimes how it ends. But for me, as my story, I don't know the end yet. But I understand that what I need to do right now, if this is my calling, if this is my purpose, I need to do it. And I need not let it, what is happening to me, affect me from what I need to do. You understand?
Yes.
What is happening at this point, don't let it blur your vision from what you're supposed to do or what you're supposed to be. You know? And this is what gives me comfort every day. Understanding that, one, I have a chance. I actually lost my best friend in 2008 as well. I deal with that up to today still. I've had therapy for it and stuff. I deal with that up to today. He was murdered in 2008. And I try to find a purpose in why he left. I try to find, did that happen so that I could get closer and I could feel more for people like us who grew up a little rough, you know, a little juvenile delinquency, you know, but matured into ourselves. Was he leaving something to do with that, or, you know, something to encourage me, even in the loss, I see a gain? And as I said, that's when you focus on the ping pong and you kind of get to see a little brighter side of the portrait, the bigger portrait. We may never know, we may not know, but we could try to know. Yeah?
Yes.
We could try to know. So for me, I'm trying to know, even in my illness, and I've seen people who go through it, treat people bad, but it's not people's fault. It's not their fault. Why would you be grumpy and ignorant and arrogant with people and treat people bad? You don't know what people are going through. Even if you're going through your own situation, you don't know what others are going through. And sometimes it's just a simple smile. And I go back to the beginning of it, even in the music. Sometimes you don't have to throw it down people's throat. Sometimes it's just a simple thing that people need. And you have to allow yourself, not because you're going through something so bad that you treat other people bad. And it's all these things that keep me going. Understanding that I could wear a shirt with writing on it, like, sorry I'm late, I didn't want to come anyway. And then when I walk into a room, people are like, I felt that way too. And it brings a smile. You see, you're smiling and I don't even have on the shirt. It's just the simple things, Cisa, you know?
Very simple, yes.
It's just simple things.
Yeah.
And I live by it. Sizzla Kalonji has a song that says, simplicity we use to survive. And I think if a lot of people grasp it and you just show love and, you know, whatever it is that you are facing, understand that somebody else is facing something too. Yeah. And if you could just put a smile on their face and help them feel a little bit warm inside, I think that's enough, man, for us. You don't have to do any more. It's not rocket science, you know?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, so. Nayan, what a yes, wow. It's thank you so much for sharing all of that.
You're most welcome.
It's definitely what you said, that you overcoming like obstacles. Yeah. You have been, and you're here, thank God. And you're still going through all of this every day. But like you said, nobody would be able to tell because you have, you're a powerhouse. You have all this, like, I can feel your energy even from far away. And yes, your character, your heart, it speaks loudly, like loud. And so, yes, I can totally see that, you know, why you are a vehicle for God, you know, to encourage others to really take their lives, not take their lives so seriously, but take their purpose seriously, and understand that yes, difficulties will happen and you will go through a lot in your life, but how you deal with it, how you live your life, even
because every day wouldn't. I always say to people, every day wouldn't be the same. Some days are hard, Cisa.
right.
Some days are hard to deal. I mean, some days to get up in the morning and to face everything. There's a lot of optimism. You have to be optimistic about it. You have to say, I could do this. I could do this, Sometimes I go in the mirror and talk to myself. People could diagnose me if they want, but I know it helps me.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, let's go. If I have to go in the mirror and say, young boy, today, we're going to have a good day. No matter what, we're going to have a good day. Understand, even if you have a bad day, it's still a day you get to have. So it's just your mindset too. And always being grateful. I think being grateful helps. Being thankful. Because you could have this storm going on, but there's this one little thing that you could pinpoint and say, oh boy, that's good. Something like I have food in my cupboard to eat, stuff in my fridge to drink. Little things. Everything could be going on around you, but you have these small blessings. I always say you have this small blessing that you could pinpoint and grab it and just hold on to it. Just hold on to it in this storm. And it helps. Being thankful for something, it helps.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
One of my favorite guided meditations that I do is all about being so grateful for everything that you have right now. So,
Nice.
like the guy says, you have a roof over your head. Be thankful for that. You're probably in your bed right now, so be thankful for that. Or you're laying down on the floor, but you're in your house. Be thankful for that.
Yeah.
And you have clean water. Do you know how many people don't have clean water?
Yep.
And so things that people overlook and that they just take it for granted because they have it every day.
It's accessible, so you just go about your business like,
it's not supposed to be overlooked. These are things that we should definitely be grateful for, and we should definitely be counting our blessings. So you're very right. And the fact that you're here, that you agreed to do this interview with me, to share your story, I'm grateful for it, and I know so many will be too.
Yeah.
You can help so many by sharing.
Yeah, because I sorry for cutting you off, right? But this is something, as you said that, it reminded me, because earlier on in this journey, I thought to myself, why am I going through this? Like, really? To go through all these trials and all these circumstances and all these situations. And I think it was a night that me and my band, we were like having this reasoning. And, as I said, a lot of people wait for the big ending, boom, and then go and tell people, oh boy, I had kidney disease and now I'm free, I have a transplant, blah, blah. But I found out that even along this journey, it wasn't meant for just me. And that's why I said in the beginning, it was meant for other people too, because it's a principle of even if you're not having kidney disease or kidney issues, what I go through and how I deal with it, I could help you deal with yours too. Definitely. Because sometimes we think we're so alone, and and like I said, I wanted to keep some of the things to myself. It's probably a kind of pride too. Don't want people to pity you and whatever. But you'll be surprised when you just share with somebody. And they're like, man, I'm having marriage issues. And my kidney issues speaks to your marriage issues. You could imagine that? It's two different things on a spectrum. Two different things. But how I deal with certain things and the principle of how I walk through this journey, it helps you when I share with you. And I don't even know.
Most definitely.
So it's not just for me alone.
It's definitely, and that gives me goosebumps because it's so true. The fact that it helps others to see, hey, this person has a much worse problem, and he's not even showing it. Like by looking at him, I would never be able to tell because he's going
Yeah.
on about his life. He's making his music. He's so who am I to sit here and feel so sorry for myself because my marriage is ending. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not taking away the fact that it hurts. That
Yeah.
it's
Most definitely. We're not
tough.
taking away the fact.
We're not,
Yeah.
but it does help to put things into perspective.
Yeah.
And so this is why it's so important. And thank you so much again for sharing your story with us, because it definitely will speak to so many. And
Thankful for that.
yes. Wow. What a story. So are you currently like on a wait list?
Well, no, I'm not on a wait list. The point I'm at now is finding another donor. But everybody thinks that it's so easy to just say, hey, would it be possible if you give me a kidney? You know, and it's hard. It's very hard to approach somebody and ask. And as I told you, my first donor, and I think that's where my heart was, right? And I stuck in that mode of, I didn't even ask my first donor. He offered to give me a kidney. And it's hard because I've never had to say, hey man, I know you're my friend for 16 years and we've been good and whatever. And I just wanted to find out what blood type you were and would you be able to give me a kidney? And it's not that easy. It's not that easy. So my sister had this brilliant idea that we designed a sticker. So my dad's sticker would say, hey, my son needs a kidney. Would you be willing to give it? Please email us at da-da-da-da-da. Thank you so much. God bless you. And then my sister's owner is, hey, my brother needs a kidney. And we'll go like that. So then if I have a friend who's willing to stick it on their car, it will say, hey, my friend needs a kidney. And I thought to myself, should I have a sticker that says, hey, I need a kidney? And she was like, yeah, we should probably do one for you too.
Yeah.
And to me, it's more comfortable for me to stick one.
Yeah,
it's more comfortable. Yeah, it's more comfortable for us to just stick it on the back there. And if somebody's in traffic and they see it and they were willing all the time, they were saying, boy, I want to donate something to somebody. And they see the sticker, then they email us. That's fine with me. But for me to go around and be like, hey friend,
right.
you need a kid. Can you give me? Everybody in my family seems to think it's so easy and that I'm not the one. They think, oh, let's designate someone to ask people. And I'm like, okay, who?
Right.
Yeah, so my sister started to design the stickers.
Good.
So I think we're gonna go with that.
Good.
Yeah, we'll start with that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, so. Nayan. Well, thank you again so much for sharing your story.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Yes. Oh, pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wish you all the best in your life. And
I wish the same for you too.
I really hope that you will find someone. You will definitely find someone. And hopefully with this interview, we will get, someone.
You never know.
Yes, exactly.
I guess. I never thought about it like that, but.
Exactly. You never know.
I just put the plug in there. I'm O positive, by the way.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I'm so happy I had this conversation with you.
Me too. I am super happy.
Yes, I'm so happy.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.